welcome everyone for this session. I'm so excited to host you all. And we are here to celebrate one of our successes of our alumni and talk about GramHeet. So it's one of the startups in India, and they are working in a sector which is agriculture. So just to give you a brief information about the sector, so it's the largest employer in the country, but the problem is that it still lags behind because there are various problems related to market connections, related to technology the farmers are using, related to credit and all those things. The government has been trying to take this issue for a long time, but still there are some discrepancies. And this is where these organizations like GramHeet, they come in to support our farmers who are really the backbone of the economy. So without wasting much more time, Itka, let's introduce the session and introduce our guest over here. And if you can just tell us about yourself, unmute yourself, tell us your name, the CSP year, that would be great.
Hello everyone, I am Shweta and I was co-scholar the last batch, 1920. So, and he.
Yeah. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, maybe the good morning for
Good evening.
good evening. Yeah, my name is Pankaj and come from the batch of 1718. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Swathi and Pankaj and I both were batchmates in Caux Scholars, and both of us are from the CSP batch of 2017 and 18.
Hello everyone, I hope I'm audible. My name is Vijayendra Kadalabal and I was a co-scholar from Asia Plateau in the year 16-17 with Shivang, and I was also a program coordinator when Pankaj and Swathi were studying.
Hello everyone, I am Rohit Valecha. I'm from India. I was a co-scholar at AP in the last batch that happened in 2019 and early 2020.
Hi, I'm Suvi. I was I was there with Shweta and Rohit in the last batch. And I wanted to say a special hello to Shweta, who was also my roommate and who told me a lot about their amazing work at the time.
And we have, thank you. We have Angela. I'm not sure if she is audible. Angela, can you say? So Angela is from the US and she was a co-scholar in India in 2017, 18 with.
Yes, 17, 18 with
Yes.
17, 18.
Yes.
She was our batchmate, yeah.
And then we have Anu, who was a scholar last year from Sri Lanka, and then Pari. So Pariwash is from Afghanistan and she was a co-scholar last year. And the last who joined us is Mohammed from Egypt, and he was also a co-scholar last year or the year before.
He was 2018-19.
Okay, yeah, I'm telling you the year.
I was the coordinator that year, yes.
Yeah, it all comes together to me because you all are one family. So welcome everyone, and we can start with Shweta and Pankaj too, right? Go ahead, Shivang.
Yeah, so talk about GramHeet a little and what amazing work they are doing. So they are providing some of the basic or the most necessary things to the farmers in the country. And to talk about this, I would like to invite the founders to speak up about what they have done, about their lives, about their motivation behind this project. So Shweta, would you like to take it forward?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Itka. Thank you, Shivang, and thank you, CSP family, for this wonderful opportunity. And though we are virtual today, but I'm just still feeling the vibrations of the CSP AP, and very glad to be here and share my experiences and journey of the GramHeet. So let's start with a story how that imprints on me to start GramHeet. So when I was a child, I saw my parents working very hard and to feed us, the family of 4 of us only. But even they work very hard, they was not able to feed us. The loan they have taken from the money lender get increases day by day, and they were not able to repay that loan. The situation was so worse that they had to leave the farming and migrate into the city, and where they actually work as laborer and uh, continue continue to work there to feed us. So this situation actually imprints on me, and this propelled me to start GramHeet actually. Then again, when as I grow, I learned that the situation is not the situation is happen all over the India. The today more than 75% of farmers give farming if they provided with an alternative. And even the situation is worst in the area where in the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra where I come from, because the farmers are only dependent on the farming itself. They don't have any alternative livelihood. They do there. Also, the in the last 2 decades, more about 300,000 farmers committed suicide. So all these numbers shows the drastic issue of the farming community in India itself. Even also further, when I saw my mother, she worked very hard, right from sowing the seed and harvesting the crops, but she never went into the market to sell the produce. It is always my father or my uncle who went into the market to sell the produce. Even the agriculture mandi in the India is highly male dominated. You can't see any woman or rarely see any woman which is standing in the mandi and selling her produce or bargaining with the money, with the traders and the artiyas. So this situation always I always have a question why the woman which is working very hard in the agriculture, her labor always remain invisible, also her presence in the market remain invisible. So that was my inspiration to start GramHeet, where the every farmer can cultivate with the dignity and feeds the world. So and this journey, my partner, my life partner Pankaj was with me, and I'm very happy that we both have a shared visions. So I will ask Pankaj to share his journey
Yeah.
or his motivation behind the GramHeet.
Thank you, Shweta. I mean, from my end also, it's really a encouraging thing for me because we had a shared vision. Because we work almost 10 years back together when she left her education, especially she comes from the background of engineering and I come from the background of social work. So it's for her, it's a complete U-turn to left a job in Pune and come back to again the village and start work like this. So this inspiration for me also to start my own work, and it's vice versa for us. So I also come from the very small village of uh, Vidarbha region, which is in central India. And as Shweta said that okay, this region is unfortunately infamous for farmer suicide. Some people unfortunately say that my district is suicide capital of India. But having been and born, brought up in smallholder farming family, I experienced that the struggle of my family. For example, I would like to share that how the Diwali of my childhood we celebrate. So my father or my mother promised me at every Diwali I will give you the new clothes or dress for you for this Diwali. But unfortunately, the money lender or the Aditya comes to our home, and the produce we bring to our home is actually snatched away by the money lenders and the Aditya. So that experience, every years of experience, actually somewhere imprinted in my life, because then I realized that if we are the cotton grower farmers, cotton producing farmers, why we are not able to get the cotton or get the dress or the cloth when we required. if we are food producing farmers, why we are in the queue of the PDS, the public distribution systems of government, where we have to actually begging them to feed us, even though we are the food producer. That some baffling questions are actually push me to think about to this situation. Later on, I actually realized that uh, yeah, in different forums like CSP also, where I realized that this exploitation of middleman or the money lender is just the ice tip of the iceberg, but the entire system in a made such a way where the smallholder farmers have no freedom over their produce. They are just as a labor on their own farm. Yeah, this is actually my childhood story uh, behind I mean, saying that the motivation to start my own work. But sometimes it's not motivation only not works. It needs some nurturing aspect or the ecosystem or environment we called mahol. So I think when I was in Tata Steel CSR, I had a good fortune to become a part of the CSP family, because that 22 days of my experience in CSP helped me to listen my inner voice. With that process, actually with this process, I mean, I'm saying with the immediate of this uh, process of listening the inner voice, helped me to take a decision about to leave my that lucrative job in Tata Steel CSR. And that was that time full confidence to leave that job. And yeah, interestingly, that decision was not challenging for me. Then I come back to my village with a larger vision for my farming family, and I co-founded a GramHeet in September 2018 with my friends. But both our organization, I were going steadily within 1.5 years of our work. So we got many national and international recognition, and but all of the sudden, the world faced the novel challenge of in the form of COVID-19, and I was on the other hand was faced with the new additional novel challenge of betrayal by my close friend who co-founded the organization with me. I realized that the friends with whom I thought that was the co-building or shared vision, uh, so was the promise as an equal partnership, was in fact regarded himself as the sole owner, and he's treating me as just as another employee. And moreover, I sense that he was just diverting my vision and diverting the vision we had in our mind for the farming community. And I fear that this would cause demises of our efforts up till then. And then this situation actually become unbearable for me day by day after day. And as I felt that I was being unduly taken advantage of, and I was completely collapsed at that time. I felt that I reached a point of no return, and then I decided to leave that organization. Actually, I started the 2 year back, which is so enthusiastically, and then the situation was so worst for me. Actually, what happened at that time, the I thought that I can't work now for the farmers, and then I realized that okay, I'm completely in a negative mode. I mean, though I was physically present with the people, but I was mentally wandering off into a negativity and depression. But again, fortunately, at this point also, I felt privileged to have the CSP family to share my sorrow. When I was reach out to the Vijayendra for the same to share this what exactly happened with me, and he connected me with so many his friends who can help me to restart my journey, and Swathi is actually one of them. So every day our discussion with Vijayendra was the trauma healing process for me, And that time he said that you have to fight it because it's your dream, and you should be a bounce back. This long discussion around it actually gave me an immense strength and courage. And think with this great resilience and enthusiasm, I started GramHeet, especially with the support of Shweta. Also, she has the shared vision of the farming community. Therefore, I think my hearty thanks to the CSP family for not for helping me, not only for realization of my dream, but also for the reviving that dream. I believe that this support will continue in a various form, and we can together bring a positive impact in the lives of millions of farmers and reimagine the rural economy of India. Thank you. Now we can share our video of 1.5 minute.
Agriculture as a sector qualifies as the largest employer in India, but today, more than 75% of farmers want to give up farming if provided with an alternative. The situation is so worse that more than 300,000 farmers had to give up their lives in the last 2 decades. Why do farmers take such a drastic measures? This is because farmers are grappling with the issues of high cost of cultivation, poor post-harvest infrastructure, and exploitation by intermediaries that leave them with negligible income. Experience of agrarian distress pushed my family to leave farming and migrate into the city for menial work. This propelled me to start GramHeet with a mission to transform farming into a profitable business. At GramHeet, we provide one-stop marketplace for farmers at village level itself. Here, they avail pre to post-harvest services, namely storage, credit, market linkages, agri-inputs, and primary processing facilities through our digital platform. Further, our unique quality analysis lab ensures absolute transparency in price determination. Primary processing at village level reduces post-harvest losses and brings multiple returns to farmers. Till date, we have worked with 600 farmers and increased their income by 30%.
Over Swathi to share the our GramHeet works in detail.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Pankaj and Shweta. I think it is because of the vision that both of them had, which actually even motivated me to join them at such an early stage. And so it gives me immense pleasure to also discuss about the work right now. I'm guessing that all of you had a broader understanding about GramHeet from the video, but let me just delve into it a bit more in detail. I'll just share my screen. So yes, so GramHeet is actually a for-profit social enterprise that provides a one-stop marketplace for farmers to avail all these services that you can see on the screen. And this is facilitated by an app called the GramHeet Mandi app. So we have a physical presence in the villages, which is actually our GramHeet Mandi or the village trade center that you saw the pictures of in the video. And those services are facilitated by this app. So what we do is we are actually an asset light model, as in we don't own any assets per se, but it's our operational partners at the village level who are community-based organizations, such as self-help groups and farmer producer organizations, and also individuals like village entrepreneurs who carry out our operations at the village level. So this actually maintains the trust at the village level, and because it's not just the physical presence of an app or something like that, but actually it's a connection that you have with these organizations at the grassroots. We actually, like Pankaj spoke about the work he did with the previous organization. So we started with the post-harvest services, and the work from that organization really helped us to make sure that we start with post-harvest services, which include storage, market linkages, and post-harvest credit. So you can imagine that a farmer who has toiled day in and day out for say a few months to actually bring out or produce a crop, and when the time comes to harvest, he or she is in dire need of cash. So there's an absolute cash crunch that a farmer faces. So at that point in time, she resorts to something called as distress selling. And this is a situation that many smallholder farmers of India face. So distress selling is a scenario wherein a farmer unwillingly sells her produce at throwaway prices, because when there is a lot of produce at the time of harvest, the prices just plummet. So farmers, because they're in need of cash, they will just sell their produce. So what we at GramHeet have thought about is we will solve this problem uh, by three by doing three major things. That is, by providing a storage facility. So if farmers are provided with a storage facility, they can actually hold their produce till the prices rise, say in a few months, and then they can actually sell their produce. So our GramHeet Mandi, which is present in the villages, offers this facility of accessible and affordable storage. And farmers are actually given receipts against their produce, which ascertains them of absolute transparency in the way the quantity is determined or the quality is calculated. So before storing the produce, we actually do a very detailed process, which includes weighing the produce on the digital scale and giving a receipt against that. And then we do a detailed quality analysis, which includes measuring the moisture content of the crop, measuring the foreign material and damaged material. And this entire report is given to the farmer, which he can just keep it uh, to himself and just refer to it. I don't think this sort of process happens anywhere in India or maybe even in the world, where such a detailed report is given to a farmer. And we are able to do this because we have come up with a unique process innovation where we make sure that farmers retain ownership over their produce till the time they sell it. At the same time, we ensure that the retailers who we supply to also get bulk supply. So that's the first thing we do with storage. Then we provide something called as the post-harvest credit. So as we saw that farmers need immediate cash, and if they want to store their produce, they will still need some cash. So we provide post-harvest credit against the storage facility. So storage is sort of like the collateral they provide to us, and they can get credit against it. And currently, we are providing post-harvest credit at zero interest rate because we are partnering with a financial institution called Rangde, which is helping our farmers in this dire times of COVID by providing a zero interest loan. Even in future, we want to keep the rates very, very minimal. You can see that money lenders give interest in the range of 40 to even 100%. And but we will be doing it at very, very minimal cost. And this credit availing process can be done through a single click on the app. Further coming to market linkages, uh, so farmers, when they download the app, they get daily price information and price trend analysis over the week and months and even years. So this helps them to actually predict and see when to sell. So it's up to them. It provides them the agency and removes the information asymmetry that actually exists in the conventional system till now. And it provides them the agency to sell it whenever they feel the time is right, when the favorable conditions are present. So this is how we are trying to solve the problem of distress selling and the issue of post-harvest losses. Now, we also know that farmers are faced with the issue of high cost of cultivation. It's even seen that the cost of cultivation is so high that it's almost equivalent to the price the farmer gets for the produce. So that's the reason why farmers get almost negligible income, which pushes them into the cycle of debt and even farmer suicides. So at GramHeet, currently we are piloting this process of agri input supply, wherein we are tying up with input companies and aggregating the supply from the farmers and partnering with input companies to deliver products in bulk. So this provides farmers with reasonable priced inputs. In addition to this, we deliver these products at farmers' doorstep, which is very unique because otherwise farmers will have to go to some input sellers who are generally money lenders, and they will give them unreliable information. And this again pushes them into the debt trap. In addition to this, we are planning to launch a new feature on our app, which is called Farmers Expenses Diary. So currently, farmers do not maintain expenses in a very lucid manner or at one place, which actually doesn't give them a clear picture as to how much they're spending where and when are they spending. So we want to provide this feature in our app so that they can actually maintain all their expenses. And on the basis of this expenses, we will provide them personalized real-time advisory services. And coming to the next problem, which is primary processing. So all of you might be aware that primary processing actually it's not just about adding value to the produce, but it actually brings multifold returns to the farmers. So if you just sell raw produce, you might be getting very minimal rates. But if you just clean it and grade it and package it and sell it, then you will get multifold the amount. So at GramHeet, what we are trying to do is we are trying to establish primary processing services at the village level itself, so that it is the farmers who will get the maximum benefit of the price instead of the intermediaries who actually take out the prices. Um, so, so by providing all these services, like Pankaj said, we are trying to reimagine and rebuild the rural economy, which is based on the Gandhian ideals.
So in the last 6 months, we work with around more than 400 farmers directly and indirectly 600 farmers, and there are actually 30 villages. The presence in the 30 villages, which is actually covered in the 3-hour GramHeet Mandi. As Swathi said that we have a village level mandi and this mandi is unique because of there are so many features for the farmers at the one place. So therefore the farmers actually prefer to come to our place and store their produce and sell their produce because it's very convenient and easy process for them. Not just it's not just only the getting the better price, but also for the convenience for them. So in that case, we also disburse around 26 lakh rupees to the farmers, and almost in the last 6 months, 1 and 3 CR of the revenue we generated through our platform. And right now, we collaborated with the 2 farmer producer organization to operate our to village trade center, and we have a 2 village entrepreneur. They are also doing the same job as the farmer producer organization do. So currently we are dealing with the soybean, red gram, chickpea, and the Bengal gram. These produce with these crops, and also we have a good number of the buyers in our platform. They are actually the processor themselves and the wholesalers and e-commerce retailers. So these actually progress we could do because of the teamwork which we have here with their expertise. And apart from that, we found that, as Shweta mentioned, that we found that the women are invisible in the agriculture market, but more than the 30% of women are actually comes in our GramHeet Mandi, because we made such a structure where the women can also feel that she the place where she can go and sell their produce and she can make the decision about her produce. So yeah, these are the things which we actually as an impact we can share.
So I just want to add one thing. Through our intervention, we come to know that we are able to increase farmers' income income by 20 to 30%. This is mainly because by reducing the post-harvest losses and also the doorstep services for the farmers, which reduces the long intermediary chain. So the farmer will get benefit from the seasonal price gain, and thus his income get increased about 30%. So we are happy to share all these aspect or this progress which we did in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here is mandi means the market, but GramHeet mandi, which is actually located in the village, therefore we called it as a village trade center. Maybe the in US we have a World Trade Center, but in our village we have a village trade center. Yeah. So Swathi, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a bit, which is about the migration bit. So generally, we see this trend of urbanization, right, where seasonal laborers from seasonal farmers from villages move to the cities as laborers. But here, by giving jobs to rural youth, especially the educated ones, we're actually creating a scenario for reverse migration and building a village economy in that sense.
Thank you so much, all of you. It was an eye-opening session because I'm also working in the same sector, and it feels so nice that you guys are pouring your hearts in for this, for the work you are doing. And Pankaj, about your story, it was it really touched my heart the way you struggled. There were some major challenges, and then you were able to get up and then face those things at the end. So it takes a lot of courage and then help at the right time from great friends that we have from CSP. So a big round of applause for all of you. The way you guys are doing it in India, it's amazing. It's considered to be one of the most challenging sectors to work in, and the way you guys have done it is remarkable. So we'll open the floor for questions now, and I think I'll be asking the first question, so I'm taking it. So for me, the first question would be, how will you replicate this model all across in India, and as well as in different parts of the world, Africa or in Latin America, where there are some issues related to agriculture, especially with credit.
As we explored that the distress selling and the issues related to the smallholder farmers are universal, and it's happening, distress selling happening in not just India but also in the African countries. We found that. So so i- as we are actually working with the CBOs, the community-based organization, as an operational partners, so therefore it's very convenient for us to replicate this model in the various part of the country, where we can approach to that CBOs and we can go there and establish the GramHeet Mandi as a one-stop marketplace for them. And along with that, so we now actually started the digitally, as we have a digital platform, so we now started with to reach out to the farmers from the neighboring district also. But as we have a smaller amount of fund, therefore we are not able to scale from the Yotmal district to the another district. But definitely it's a very simple model, a very light, as Swati said, that it's a light asset model where we can replicate in any part of the world where the smallholder, specifically the smallholder farmers are exist.
Yeah, I just lost out of internet. I don't know. I'm one of the remotest part in Canada. What I would want to say is the journey that I have seen through Pankaj and Shweta is that the lens of looking at agriculture as a problem might be flawed the way we look at it now. Because I always tells me that we don't work with a farmer, we work with farming family. So if we reach out to 400 farmers, we're also reaching out to 400 farming families. The day we understand this, the day we understand that the income that we are developing in each of these households is going to ensure the education of that child, which is going in that household, is going to ensure equality of gender in that household, because women also can access the mandi. And the entire fact of what Gandhiji had once said, that the model for a country like India, which is so rural economy is the livelihood, life of our livelihoods. And if we can revive that, if each village in country can have one gram mandi, the entire village can unite and start this process of reverse migration, create local employment, be proud to be growing food and not think of alternate livelihoods. For me, small way, I'm looking at large being nurtured and a lot of pain and blood sweat. But I also believe that since it's such a firm belief, because they come from a farming family themselves, uh, you can see if you spend time with them, you can see how they don't sleep because they have to wake up the next day and open the doors to take the crop in and let the villager get a payment. Uh, what I realized is it's possible, it's doable. It just needs a different lens. It also needs a different level of understanding at policy level and the ground level, something which we don't see in today's world. We all think we are development consultants, we can come in and solve a problem. It's not like that. You're dealing with humans, you're dealing with something very dependent on climate, and as climate change is happening, so will change in crop patterns happen. So unless we reach out to the farmers themselves, we cannot find a solution. And one example of farmers finding a solution themselves is from GramHeet. So I think a lot of takeaways are there from this model for the world to see.
Thank you, Vijay. And it's always nice talking to you about these challenging issues and knowing your views. I just seen Edma. Do you have a question? I've seen you unmuting, and then we have a couple of more questions in the chat box.
Yes.
I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly.
Sorry, Ademar from Brazil. It's very interesting because in Brazil, we despite the structure that Brazil has, many small farmers, they struggle with credits, and that's why they are organized in cooperatives. I don't know. I think in English we say cooperatives. The cooperatives, they are small associations that brings farmers and producers, especially the dairy product, the milk production, and that's how they have been surviving, competing against the big industries, the big producers. But as an outsider, I was very curious to hear a little bit about the protests in Delhi by the farmers, because I have watched the BBC and CNN, and then they speak a lot about it, but I am an outsider, so I have a different perspective. But that's a very interesting project that could be shared with all over the world, and there are many small producers in Brazil in very remote areas that they struggle with credit. Okay, thank you very much.
So Shweta or Swathi, do you want to respond to replicating this model, especially related to credit and also about the protest that's going on?
So as an institution, I think we have both pros and cons. I think one pro that we saw from I'm talking about the farm bills, which is that it is propelling private sector to enter into the space of agriculture, which was otherwise controlled by the government through agricultural producer markets. And so for us as GramHeet, it sort of opens the doors to enter. So that is a pro. But con is that throughout this entire process of the passing of the bills, the voice of the farmer was not heard. So our approach is farmers' first approach. So if a farmer is not consulted in the entire process, then I think it's not done. So I think as an institution, this is something that we are looking at.
Yeah, thank you. So there's a couple of questions from Angela.
Sure, I feel like I've probably talked to all of you so much, but I still have so many questions. It's always so exciting to learn more. But I was wondering if, like, it was interesting what you said, Pankaj, that some things were positive or helped the farmers with the laws? Is that what you're saying? That with the storage, that they're able to store more, that was a change that happened in the law? Was I hearing you correctly? Okay.
I got it.
And I was wondering, like, are there other concerns that you have? Like, do you think that the government would try to limit GramHeet in any way, or try to prevent this more kind of localized work that you're doing with the farmers?
So I think as such, we don't
Yeah,
have
I think
any.
it in there.
So we don't have any restriction from the government per se. Before this farm bill, I can say that we need so many license to do the this kind of trading, or if we want to procure from the farmers, we need a certain level of license. But now we don't need to take that license. That one aspect. But apart from that, now we don't need to pay a cess or the tax to the government. Actually, that tax comes from indirectly from the farmers only, because we are not the one who can pay from our pocket, and eventually we take from it for the farmers only. Therefore, these things are actually helping us rather than restricting to do our job. But other aspect in these farm bills are actually problematic, because the farmers don't have a voice. If something do a wrong with the farmers can't go to the court. They have to go to the district collector. Why they are resisting the farmers not go to the court? We are in a judiciary system. We have the strong judiciary system. We are in a democracy. The farmers can go to directly to the court. But in this law, they are not allowed to go to the court. Yeah.
Vijay, you had a point, right?
Yeah, I think I'm not speaking on behalf of GramHeet currently, but I'll just speak from my individual point of view. To understand what's happening with the farmer issue, we need to understand what's happening in the country as a whole in the last decade. Various protests that have happened, what are the various student movements that has happened. More than the farmers bill itself, the concern of even the farmers themselves is that why are voices being not heard? And this is the only this is one of their demands. I was in the farmer protests a couple of weeks back, and they all are well read. They have read the farm laws. They know what are the good aspects of it, what are the bad aspects of it. Their only concern is, why aren't we consulted? We are the farmers. So why should somebody else decide for us? And on the other side of it, if you look at facts, more than 70% of the agriculture industry is already privatized. So when you say you're opening up the markets, so making these blanket statements, it's not entirely true, because every state has their own agriculture law. So it's not as big a reform as it is being made out. It's also not as problematic as it is made out. The deeper issues lies in the process of consultation that needs to be there. Apart from that, yeah, the farmers have every right to disagree with a very good law as well. It's their right to disagree, and they should be given that opportunity, not be branded for what.
Yeah, that's true, Vijay. I think we can hear you. We can hear you, but the connection is lost. Something. So moving ahead, we have one more question from Desire, and he's talking about how your amazing work is taking in consideration the climate change factor to improve the livelihoods of smallholders farmers, like smallholder farmers.
Yeah, climate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So how are you incorporating it for smallholders? Yeah.
Currently, the crop we are dealing, which is actually helping the European and American cattle industry. So we are actually providing them soybeans oil cake to that cattle industry in the European countries. And the soybean, the crop like soybean, is actually degrading our soil fertility, and also it's harmful for our environment per se. So in our model, we are actually encouraging the farmers to produce the millets, so that the environmentally and the ecosystem of our area will be remain, and it will be a healthy, not just for the women per se, human per se, but also the for environment per se. It will be helpful for the all. So we are encouraging the farmers to cultivate the millets. Yeah.
So we are trying to change the cultivation pattern here, actually, which are basically depends on the cash crops, and now they which are very hazardous for the soil and even for the human beings to eat. So we are trying to get more and more millets which into the farm and into the plate of the farmer also. So that will be the changing both the environment also, and even affecting the health of the farmers which are actually producing that, and which is actually a low cost, which required very low cost for the production of that also. So we are trying to shift that, but it is a gradual process, so we need that much time for that.
Also, I would like to add two things that we are actually currently doing with respect to the environment. So if we are concentrating on the village economy and providing storage facilities and processing facilities at the village itself, then we are reducing the post-harvest losses. So in that sense, we are actually making sure that the food doesn't get wasted. So in that sense also, we are doing something for the environment in that bit currently, because crop change pattern is something which is very long. And in addition to that, we are also thinking of providing advisory services related to the weather patterns and all in the near future. So in that sense, we will make sure that farmers' productivity is also in line with the climate change that is happening. Yeah.
So we have like a couple of questions from Suvi. So Suvi, do you want to read your question, because it's like 2 or 3 over there, or shall I just do it?
Yeah, I can. Just a sec. So yeah, I just wanted to ask what your sort of future plans were, and like where do you see yourself going next, and how are you kind of feeling about expanding your incredible model to new locations?
Currently, we are dealing with the post-harvest services, and we are about to start our pre-harvest services, which is mainly the input services to the farmers. So we from this May itself, we are going to start the input services to the farmers through the, as Swathi mentioned, as advisory services, which will give the agency to the farmers to have a to choose what to grow, and how which quality of the seed he should grow. So so we are going to start this from this, and then we also want to start our primary processing unit, where the farmer can primary process through the cleaning, grading, and processing, and then he can sell that. So at the first stage, we want to start these services, and further Pankaj can add. Scale up.
Yeah, definitely. This, especially our main focus is to how the farmer themselves can the process their produce, because right now someone is holding that produce, someone other is doing the processing of it and providing to the larger world. So in our motive of why not the farmers themselves can the produce also and the process it. So we are making a actually system in a such a way where the farmers themselves can be process it and sell it to the urban consumers or the larger world. Yeah, that's our motive, and for that we are actually right now we have three centers like this, and we are actually replicating this model phase by phase. First, we need to cover the Vidarbha region, which is unfortunately infamous for the farmer suicide. So that's our point. Yeah.
Thank you, Suvi, for the questions and the answers. Jitka, you had a couple of questions, right?
Yeah, Thank you so much. I'm really inspired. The app looks very savvy, and I cannot wait to learn how to use skills like that. I was wondering about farmers who cannot read. How do you teach them? How do you serve them?
How do you
Teach them to use the app.
Okay, so we have the language in our app is in Marathi, is a local language, and we don't put the so many the it's very simple one. We put the iconic things so that farmers can easily understand what exactly the meaning of that icon. If someone, the farmers, those who are not that much literate, they can also understand the work function of that particular app, because and now in this area, or you can say the India's 75% I think the smartphone penetration we have in India. And now after the geo the mobile network, so we have the 4G connectivity in the small village itself. Right now we are speaking in very small village, in our own village, which is completely interior, and still we have a connectivity. The farmers are actually using, once they visited our place in especially the GramHeet Mandi, we have the one session to them to how to use that app, because sometimes it's very difficult for them to exactly, it's a new thing for them, because our quality analysis lab, these also the new things for them, because in the traditional mandi they go to there and the trader directly decided that the particular price, but here we have the proper process to determine the price of their produce. So these things we have the separate person in the center who explain that features.
Thank you. And
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
Even if they don't have the app, they can actually come to the center because it's in the village itself.
Okay.
So they can just come and get their process done. So it need not be always that they have to do it through the app.
Okay.
Yes,
That's fascinating.
And I have just one more question.
Yeah,
The other ones you answered. How can we support you as an international community? You know that you are doing so much. We can learn from you. But I also want to make sure I'm going to be reaching out and sharing the work that you are doing. But is there any ways that we can support you?
Yeah. Swathi, you can, as an Swathi, you can respond to this.
So currently we are in a bit of a cash crunch. So we are actually looking forward to doing fundraising, and we are actually focusing on a lot of grants, basically, because a lot of investors are approaching us for equity, and but we are really not interested in doing that at this stage because we're like very young right now, and valuation and all would be like, I mean, it's not in our interest to do that currently. So it would be very great if you could put us in touch with organizations that fund agribusiness, agri-tech startups. And also it would be great if individuals would want to join us in terms of pitching in their few hours, volunteering with us, even that would be great. And also if someone wants, if you could put us in touch with experts in this sector or similar organizations and startups who can mentor us, even that would be great. Yeah, other than that, I think the support as a family is always required.
I just wanted to say how grateful I am for this opportunity to learn from you. I do want to make sure other people learn about your project and the work and are able to replicate it in other countries. I will try my best to support you, connect you, and send you information that I find. Thank you.